Saffron Bond's blue-roofed house in central Lismore was swallowed by 5 metres of water. The home she shared with her 2 young children was wrecked.
Beautiful chairs.
Basically everything in it was destroyed. Floors, walls, obviously all my furniture, clothes, you name it. Everything was gone.
The story of Lismore.
Hers was among 6,200 homes damaged or destroyed in the Northern Rivers floods. The devastation was so severe, the state and federal governments funded a $700 million scheme to buy or repair homes at severe risk of future floods. Homes are to be bought at pre-flood prices, but there's not enough money to buy every home, and there was no detail about who would be eligible.
We were left in a position where we had to just guess. And we all know, all the locals know, that north and some parts of south are the highest hazard zones. So we just assumed that anything on that side of the levee was going to be the only area that was eligible for buyback.
In an information void, Saffron Bond spent $80,000 fixing her home.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a high-end kitchen. It looks fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Then, last week, she was told she's eligible for a buyback.
It would have been great if they could have at least given us an indication, even a perhaps. Because even if I'd had that, I would have done things differently.
In southeast Queensland, which flooded at the same time as Lismore, homes have already been bought back and demolished. So far, 365 buyback offers have been made. The body charged with rebuilding the New South Wales Northern Rivers has been much slower to get going. It's made fewer than 10 offers beginning last week.
The start line for them was middle of May when their program was announced in terms of the funding. Our program was announced on the 28th of October.
Reconstruction head David Witherden says he's working as quickly as possible.
The challenge we've got is, we've got around 6,000 applications for this program. Our commitment is to work through all of those assessments in the first instance by the end of June.
That's painfully slow for Marcus and Leonie Bebb, who are living among other flood refugees in a village of demountables.
It's really good compared to 2 pop-top caravans that we had teenagers all sharing one van, which is pretty full on.
Their South Lismore home was insured for flood damage, but their payout won't cover the cost of rebuilding. So they're here until the Reconstruction Corporation decides whether it will contribute to repairs, raise it higher, or simply buy it back.
I just think if they could just let people know, even if it's going to be another 6-12 months before it was our turn.
The biggest part of it when it comes into the Reconstruction Corporation is actually communication. If we knew that we're only getting a $50,000 retrofit, the for sale sign will go up tomorrow.
I've said to people, please be patient with it. This will take time, and if there's any likelihood that you may be eligible for a buyback, hang in there.
And but they don't know if they'll be eligible, do they, without that information from the NRRC?
No, they don't, but our commitment is at the outside, by the middle of this year, everybody will know.
Lismore real estate agent Michelle Mitchell knows this town as well as anyone. And this is the famous scene of everybody coming across the bridge, carrying dogs and old people.
And just everything. So who would have ever thought when you're going over this bridge that this whole bridge would be underwater?
Across the bridge is South Lismore, one of the areas where nearly every home went under and where the real estate market is firing.
A lot of properties in this street have been sold, and it's been a mix of young people and or investors.
So investors are buying in because they're speculating the prices are going to rise over the years? Or
for return at the moment.
Oh, for rents. In Lismore alone, at least 79 properties affected by the disaster have been sold.
It's giving young people an opportunity to get into the market. Local investors and other investors are coming to town and they're investing in our town, which we're excited by that. It puts a property back into the market for our community to rent.
But the purpose of the buyback is to make an area, I suppose, reduce the number of rescues you might have to do in the future to make an area safer.
Yes, I know.
And yet people are buying into this area and putting themselves at some degree of risk.
I think there's risk in everything, but I do think it's been a communication level on we don't really know what's happening with the buyback and there's no time frames. People want to get out, so people will get in. It's a thing.
This feels like a missed opportunity to get as many people as possible out of danger. Things have moved so slowly in Lismore that a new generation is moving in to the riskiest parts of town. And when it floods again, and it surely will, the agony of 2022 is bound to be repeated.
Adam Gruges has recently bought into South Lismore with his eyes open.
The opportunity come about, I'm a tradesman, price was right, I could fix it, repair it, had good bones, we like the area, there's only one other resident on the street.
It was a steal.
Well, I think the old buyers bought it for over 400 and we paid 180,000 for it.
$180,000
for a 3-bedroom, 728 square metre home.
This house fared better than many.
The flood come up about 1,100 above the floorboards. We were on the outskirts of the flood, so the water wasn't raging through like the middle of town. You know, it was just all the pushing out of the water. Again, like I don't think it's, you know, it wouldn't put my family in danger if we were living here and it happened to have and we didn't get out.
David Witherden says the wheels of the Reconstruction Authority will now start to turn more quickly and expects 250 offers to be on the table by the end of April. In the meantime, he has a warning for those considering buying a cheap, flood-prone home.
Whilst it may be affordable, you've got a really high potential of setting yourself up for recurrent personal trauma, economic trauma. Talk to people who've been through recurrent flood cycles. I think, if you've got an opportunity to avoid that, you ought to do that.
I definitely don't want to go back there. I don't want to fix the house and move back into it.
How do you feel about the risk of staying here in this house?
Not good.